experience reading this now compared to the first time I tried to read it, which was years ago when I was like on Prozac and just wasn't able to really get into anything. So once again, it was another example of something that just affected me so much more now, which I really like. And anyway, it's a pretty simple, it's a book of simple truths, simple concepts that are very easily forgotten, and for me anyway, it's really nice to be reminded of some of this stuff. And the language and the way it's presented is just beautiful. I love it. It was written in 1923 by a Lebanese poet, and so the language is very poetic and really rich imagery and just gorgeous language, in my opinion anyway. Many others, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this. It's quite a well-known book. And I just started recording this, and originally I was going to say that the first chapter is almost like you could just skip it, because it basically just sets up the premise of the book, which is that there's this a prophet, who has been staying staying in this land with this people, and he's leaving. And before he goes, they ask him to pass on his teachings. So the first chapter is kind of setting up the story, and then after that, each chapter is just on a different topic, what he has to say about those things. And so I was going to say, just sort of even feel free to skip the first video, but as I started reading this just now, it really occurred to me how symbolic this is for me personally of exactly the process that I'm going through right now, which is standing at that. And I've talked to a lot of my friends and people online here that I've gotten to know who have been experiencing similar kinds of experiences, reaching that point in your life when you realize that everything you've been doing up until this point needs to be looked at, and probably most of it let go of, in order to kind of step into the life that you want to be living and the experience you want to be having. And it talks about the pain that's involved with in leaving that behind, because even though what you're stepping into is probably a lot better, and the things that you're letting go of, a lot of them cause you a lot of pain and heartbreak and all that, it's still something that's so familiar that it's become, you've got a fondness and an attachment to these things, and so to let them go, there's definitely a grieving process. So it just really, even in October when I was reading this, I didn't clue in, but now as I just started reading this, I was like, wow. And so anyway, I thought I'd start over and read it a little more carefully. And like I said, I'm going to try and read the whole thing. I just got it back today from a friend that I'd lent it to, so here we go. The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. Alright. Al-Mustafa, the chosen and the beloved, who was a dawn unto his own day, had waited 12 years in the city of Orpheus for his ship that was to return and bear him back to the isle of his birth. And in the 12th year, on the 7th day of Kahlil, the month of reaping, he climbed the hill without the city walls and looked seaward, and he beheld his ship coming in the mist. Then the gates of his heart were flung open, and his joy flew far over the sea, and he closed his eyes and prayed in the silences of his soul. But as he descended the hill, a sadness came upon him, and he thought in his heart, how shall I go in peace and without sorrow? Nay, not without a wound in the spirit shall I leave this city. Long were the days of scattered in these streets, and too many are the children of my longing that walk naked among these hills, and I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. It is not a garment that I cast off this day, but a skin that I tear with my own hands. Nor is it a thought that I leave behind me, but a heart made sweet with hunger and with thirst. Yet I cannot tarry longer. The sea that calls all things unto her calls me, and I must embark. For to stay, though the hours burn in the night, is to freeze and crystallize and be bound in a mold. Fain would I take with me all that is here, but how shall I? A voice cannot carry the tongue and the lips that gave it wings. Alone must it seek the ether. And alone and without his nest shall the eagle fly across the sun. Now when he reached the foot of the hill, he turned again towards the sea, and he saw his ship approaching the harbor, and upon her prow the mariners, the men of his own land. And his soul cried out to them, and he said, Sons of my ancient mother, you riders of the tides, how often have you sailed in my dreams? And now you come in my awakening, which is my deeper dream. Ready am I to go, and with my eagerness. Ready am I to go, and my eagerness with sails full set awaits the wind. Only another breath will I breathe in this still air. Only another loving look cast backward, and then I shall stand among you, a seafarer among seafarers. And you, vast sea, sleepless mother, who alone are peace and freedom to the river and the stream. Only another winding will this stream make, only another murmur in this glade, and then shall I come to you, a boundless drop to a boundless ocean. And as he walked, he saw from afar men and women leaving their fields and their vineyards and hastening toward the city gates. And he heard their voices calling his name and shouting from field to field, telling one another of the coming of his ship. And he said to himself, Shall the day of parting be the day of gathering? And shall it be said that my eve was in truth my dawn? And what shall I give unto him who has left his plough in mid-furrow, and to him who has stopped the wheel of his winepress? Shall my heart become a tree, heavy laden with fruit that I may gather and give unto them? And shall my desires flow like a fountain, that I may fill their cups? Am I a harp that the hand of the mighty may touch me, or a flute that his breath may pass through me? A seeker of silences am I, and what treasure have I found in silences, that I may dispense with confidence? If this is my day of harvest, in what fields have I sowed the seed, and in what unremembered seasons? If this indeed be the hour in which I lift up my lantern, it is not my flame that shall burn therein. Empty and dark shall I raise my lantern, and the guardian of the night shall fill it with his oil, and he shall light it also. These things he said in words, but much in his heart remained unsaid, for he himself could not speak his deeper secret. And when he entered into the city, all the people came to meet him, and they were crying out to him as with one voice. And the elders of the city stood forth and said, Go not yet away from us. A noontide have you been in our twilight, and your youth has given us dreams to dream. No stranger are you among us, nor a guest, but our son and our dearly beloved. Suffer not yet our eyes to hunger for your face. And the priests and priestesses said unto him, Let not the waves of the sea separate us now, and the years you have spent in our midst become a memory. You have walked among us a spirit, and your shadow has been a light upon our faces. Much have we loved you, but speechless was our love, and with veils has it been veiled. Yet now it cries aloud to you, and would stand revealed before you. And ever has it been that love knows knows not its own depth until the hour of separation. And others came also and entreated him, but he answered them not. He only bent his head, and those who stood near saw tears falling upon his breast. And he and the people proceeded toward the great square before the temple, and there came out of the sanctuary a woman, whose name was Almitra, and she was a seeress. And he looked upon her with exceeding tenderness, for it was she who had first sought and believed in him, when he had been but a day in their city. And she hailed him, saying, Prophet of God, in quest of the uttermost, long have you searched the distances for your ship, and now your ship has come, and you must needs go. Deep is your longing for the land of your memories, and the dwelling place of your greater desires, and our love would not bind you, nor our needs hold you. Yet this we ask, ere you leave us, that you speak to us and give us your truth, and we will give it unto our children, and they unto their children, and it shall not perish. In your aloneness you have watched with our days, and in your wakefulness you have listened to the weeping and the laughter of our sleep. Now therefore disclose us to ourselves, and tell us all that has been shown you of that which is between birth and death. And he answered, People of Orphalus, of what can I speak, save of that which even now is moving within your souls? Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. That's the first chapter. And after this, I'm going to do maybe like 1 or 2 chapters per video of the little lectures or